Hello everyone, Manithral here, and welcome to the weekly update video for OSRS. Now this week we see a lot of stuff going from Deadman Reborn feedback and beta fixes. So we'll get back to that because I know there's a lot of people who are, not really into Deadman Mode. So we'll go to the stuff that's out first. They expanded the mining guild to include the new Amethyst area, as discussed in the mini poll. This should make the existing mining spots a bit less crowded, so it's to basically declutter again. But once inside, mining the Amethyst requires level 92 mining as expected, so not too bad. And the quality of life improvements, they've added a counter to the egg shrine in the wood cutting guild. Unfortunately, this can't be applied retroactively, but you can now keep up with how many bird eggs you sacrifice, so let's bring those numbers up. If you try to track a new herbivore, when you've already tracked one, or got one tracked, a confirmation message will now appear. This warning is on by default, but can be disabled. They allowed for more time at Sony's Nightmare Master and Grandmaster tasks. Previously, they were set to 7 and 8 respectively, but now they bumped it up to 7:30 and 9. This is Master GM. This will apply retroactively to award players who have already hit the required times, so that's kind of nice. The Slayer helmets and rings have now been improved and will also display your current task streak and Slayer points. They also added the check showing. So showing you how many spellbook swaps you have left to the magic skill cape and chat message to the magic cape option on the max cape. And major news, the Lands and dog can now be petted, ensuring consistencies across all other dogs in the game. If you happen to find any more dogs that are not pettable in game, please let them know. The automatic grinding of items with the pestle and mortar no longer prevents your character from moving. And otherwise, the PvP World Rota has moved to Period B, 560 UK, 579 US High Risk PvP, 561 UK Free to Play PvP, 580 US LMS Competitive. World 390 AUS for LMS Competitive has been deactivated for this Rota. Now we'll go back up to the Deadman Reborn. So, the Deadman Reborn, I keep stuttering today. There is some changes this week. Sigil of the specialized strikes now requires the sigil to be activated to reduce the cost of your next special attack, which costs more than 10 energy by 10. This effect has a 30-second cooldown. Sigil of Rampage, accuracy and damage provided by each stack is reduced from 5% to 3%, and the damage bonus will not stack with the Sigil of Aggression. Sigil of Aggression, the damage dealt to other players has decreased from 20% to 15%. The additional damage received from other players has been decreased from 30% to 20%. And the damage bonus will not stack with Sigil of Rampage. Sigil of Garments will now allow players to access the Minnow platform without requiring the Angler outfit. Sigil of Pious Protection, the damage reduction from praying correctly against your opponent's stack has been reduced from 30% to 20%. The additional damage received from praying incorrectly against your opponent has been reduced from 40% to 20%. Sign of Finality, the cooldown has been reduced from 2 minutes to 90 seconds, so it's a minute 30. Sigil of the Porcupine, the effect duration has increased from 30 seconds to 45 seconds. Sigil of the Menacing Mage, the activation rate has increased from 10% to 20%. Sigil of Last Recall can now be used to teleport back to Zaya. Other changes, the tutorial now tells people that they'll receive 60 minutes PvP protection when hopping off Tutorial Island. Players on the 3 to 35 and 36 to 70 combat brackets can now buy tier 2 starter sigils from the Grand Exchange. However, they still won't be able to sell them. And in case you missed it, here are some changes they made since launch. So the Sigil of Slaughter will now deduct Slayer points when you choose a Slayer task as intended. Players are now prompted to confirm their starter sigils when beginning Deadman, or when restarting after losing all their lives. Seed packs are only given 1 seed per pack rather than the usual 6 to 10. It's been fixed. Players were previously able to attune to the sigil and then destroy it using a bank incinerator. This would prevent you from unattuning it. This has now been fixed, so you must attune your sigil before you can destroy it. More Revenant Cave loot drops have been enabled, so players can get various types of loot from Revenants. The Sigil of the Abyss will now provide a 5 times the amount of runes when crafting the Blood Runes, Soul Runes as intended. The Sigil of Devotion was previously not giving players XP effect for ashes of any description. This has been fixed. The Sigil of Aggression and Sigil Rampage were not increasing max hits by the correct amount. This is now fixed. And they've also fixed that both sigils will now correctly apply their respective damage to all forms of attack. And they made a change that the way Tier 5 emblems are obtained, now you can get Tier 1 and Tier 5 emblems from any NPC, even if they are not the target of your Slayer task. Emblems will always be Tier 5 if the target is your Slayer task, or if the NPC is above combat level 100. They've also greatly increased the chance of an emblem dropping while in single-way combat. When disabling experience gained from Nigel, it was difficult to know if attacks were hitting if you were PKing while locked into a particular combat world. You now see fake XP drops to let you know how much XP you could have received. The Sigil of Fortification will now correctly apply its plus 12 bonus to all styles, and players can receive Deadman protection from losing combat XP once per day. Players who are under immunity cannot participate in the following content: Corporal Beast, God War's Dungeon, and the Nightmare or Fasani's Nightmare. And then the Deadman finale is coming up, but this is actually the beta, so there is some time before the actual finale comes up. But if you do want to check out the beta, and this is going to be purely just to simulate how the finale would go, you would head over to 540 US West, 551 EU, and 558 UK. Worlds will be open 1400 BST and will remain open till roughly 4:15 BST, so around 15 minutes, if they feel they have enough participants to proceed. The survivors of the preliminary rounds will be eligible to hop to World 400 US East, where the final rounds will take place. The game will transfer, and so on and so forth. But this is something. Let's see when this actually takes place. Doesn't exactly say what day, but I'm assuming that was actually earlier today. But hopefully they got all tested out and it's all smooth and good to go. But that's actually it for today, guys. Rather light week, mostly a lot of Deadman stuff going on. Probably be that way for a couple weeks, so just bear with it. But thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, later, guys.